In 1848, hundreds of thousands of people rushed to California to mine gold. Most of them went broke. You know who got rich? The guy selling pickaxes. His name was Samuel Brannan. He didn't mine a single ounce of gold. He bought every pickaxe, shovel, and pan in the region for 20 cents each and sold them for $15. He became California's first millionaire. Let me show you something that should concern every AI investor. Nvidia is trading at roughly 60 to 70 times earnings. AMD is similar. Every single AI stock that retail traders are piling into has already priced in years of future growth. But here's the thing nobody wants to talk about. Who are Nvidia's customers? Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta. These companies are buying hundreds of billions of dollars worth of AI chips. But what do those chips need to actually work? They need three things. Number one, power. Massive, unprecedented amounts of electricity. A single AI data center can consume as much power as a small city. Number two, cooling. These chips generate so much heat that traditional air conditioning doesn't work anymore. We're talking about liquid cooling systems running specialized fluids directly over the processors. Number three, space. Physical buildings, data centers, to house all of this equipment. And not just any buildings. Purpose-built facilities near major power sources. Power, cooling, space. These are the modern pickaxes. And the companies that provide them, most of them are still flying completely under the radar. Let's start with the biggest pickaxe of all, power. Here's a number that broke my brain when I first saw it. Goldman Sachs estimates that AI data center electricity demand will increase by 160% by 2030. 160%. To put that in perspective, the entire US power grid has only grown by about 1% per year for the last 2 decades. The grid cannot handle this. It's physically impossible with current infrastructure. Something has to give. And what's giving is the most unlikely comeback story in energy history: nuclear power. In September 2024, Microsoft signed a deal to restart 3 Mile Island. Yes, that 3 Mile Island, the site of America's worst nuclear accident. They're paying to bring a nuclear reactor back online, specifically to power AI data centers. Let that sink in. The demand for AI power is so extreme that we're literally restarting nuclear plants that were shut down after partial meltdowns. But it doesn't stop there. Amazon purchased a nuclear-powered data center campus in Pennsylvania for $650 million. Google signed the world's first corporate agreement to buy power from small modular nuclear reactors. Oracle announced plans for a data center powered by 3 small nuclear reactors. This isn't a trend, this is a stampede, and it leads directly to 3 investment categories that most people have never even considered. Category 1, uranium. Every nuclear reactor needs uranium fuel. Global uranium demand is projected to exceed supply by 2027. There are only a handful of major uranium producers on Earth. The supply is fixed, the demand is exploding. Basic economics. Category 2, nuclear technology companies. The firms actually building the next generation of reactors, particularly small modular reactors or SMRs. This is a market that barely existed 3 years ago and is now projected to reach $150 billion by 2035. Category 3, grid infrastructure. Even with new power sources, the electricity needs to get from the power plant to the data center. That means transformers, transmission lines, switchgear, grid management software. The companies making this equipment have order backlogs stretching 3 to 4 years into the future. They literally cannot build fast enough. We're about to get into cooling and data centers. And honestly, the cooling story might be the most explosive opportunity of the 3. But real quick, if you're finding value in this, smash that subscribe button. I spent an absurd amount of time researching this video, so you don't have to spend months figuring this out on your own. Alright, pillar 2, cooling. This is where it gets wild. Okay, here's the cooling problem explained as simply as possible. A single NVIDIA H100 GPU generates about 700 watts of heat, one chip. A single AI training rack can have 8 of these chips. That's 5,600 watts of heat from one rack. A large data center can have thousands of racks. Traditional air cooling, fans and air conditioning, maxes out at about 30 to 40 kilowatts per rack. But modern AI racks are already demanding 100 to 150 kilowatts per rack. Some next-generation setups will need 300 kilowatts. Air cooling is dead for AI. It's physics. It's not a matter of opinion. You cannot cool 300 kilowatts with fans, period. The solution? Direct liquid cooling. Instead of blowing air over hot chips, you pump specialized liquid, often an engineered coolant, directly over or through the chip itself. It's 3,000 times more efficient than air at absorbing heat. And here's the market opportunity that made me pause and reread the numbers 3 times. The liquid cooling market for data centers was valued at roughly $4 billion in 2023. By 2030, it's projected to exceed $50 billion. That's a 12x growth in 7 years. But wait, it gets even crazier. Right now, only about 5% of existing data centers use liquid cooling. 5%. As AI deployment accelerates, that number needs to reach 40 to 60%. That means virtually every major data center on Earth will need to be retrofitted or rebuilt with liquid cooling systems. The companies providing this technology are not the Nvidias of the world. They're not household names. Many of them are mid-cap or even small-cap companies that most retail investors have never heard of, and their revenues are growing at 80 to 200% year over year.
This with the Pickaxe.
Pillar 3, space, physical space, real estate. And I know, real estate sounds boring compared to nuclear reactors and liquid cooling, but the numbers here are anything but boring. There is a global land war happening right now for data center locations. And the battlefield isn't Silicon Valley, it's places you'd never expect. Rural Virginia, central Texas, the deserts of Arizona, and increasingly international locations near cheap power sources. Here's why. A hyperscale AI data center needs 3 things from its location: abundant power, ideally 1 gigawatt or more, water for cooling, and fiber optic connectivity. The number of places on Earth that have all 3, very limited, and they're being bought up at an astonishing rate. Amazon spent $35 billion on data center infrastructure in a single quarter. Microsoft committed over $80 billion for fiscal year 2025 alone. Google, Meta, Oracle, all spending at similar scales. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into physical buildings. Data center REITs, real estate investment trusts that own and operate these facilities, have outperformed the S&P 500 by over 40% in the last 12 months. And according to JLL Research, the global data center market still has a vacancy rate near historic lows, meaning demand far exceeds available space. But here's the angle nobody is covering: the construction companies building these data centers, the firms making the specialized electrical systems, the raised flooring, the fire suppression, the security infrastructure. These picks and shovels plays within the picks and shovels play are seeing revenue growth of 50 to 100% with very little analyst coverage. There's a supply chain underneath AI that goes 10 layers deep, and the further down you go, the less competition there is, and the more asymmetric the opportunity becomes. Now let me tie all of this together, because when you see the full picture, it hits different. This is not a single investment opportunity. This is an entire economic ecosystem being built from scratch, and it's being built with a level of urgency and capital that we haven't seen since the construction of the interstate highway system in the 1950s. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Bank of America have all independently estimated that total AI infrastructure spending will exceed $1 trillion by 2027. $1 trillion. That money doesn't go to chatbots. It goes to uranium mines, cooling systems, power transformers, concrete, steel, fiber optics, and real estate. The AI trade is not Nvidia at 70 times earnings. The AI trade is the entire supply chain beneath it. And right now, most of that supply chain is still being valued like the old economy. Because the market hasn't fully connected the dots yet, but it will. And when it does, the repricing will be violent. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. What if AI is a bubble? What if all this spending doesn't produce real returns and the whole thing collapses like .com? It's a fair question. And here's my honest answer. It's possible. AI company stocks could absolutely be in a bubble. Nvidia could drop 50%. AI startups could go bankrupt in droves. But here's why the Pickaxe play is different. Even if the AI bubble pops, the infrastructure stays. The data centers don't disappear. The power plants don't shut down. The cooling systems don't uninstall themselves. After the .com bubble burst, Amazon fell 95%. But the fiber optic cables that were laid during the boom, they're still carrying your internet traffic today. The infrastructure outlived the bubble. It always does. That's the thesis. You're not betting on which AI company wins. You're betting that AI, in any form, by any company, will need power, cooling, and space. And that bet is almost impossible to lose. I want to leave you with a thought that changed how I invest forever. In every gold rush throughout history, California 1848, oil in Texas 1901, .com in 1999, crypto in 2017, the pattern is always the same. The masses rush toward the shiny object: gold, oil, stocks, tokens, and most of them lose money because they arrive too late, pay too much, and buy the wrong thing. But in every single one of those rushes, a small group of people looked at the same situation and asked a different question. Not, how do I get the gold? But what does every gold miner need, regardless of whether they find gold or not? Pickaxes, jeans, railroads, drilling equipment, cloud servers, infrastructure. Right now, we are living through the biggest gold rush in human history. AI isn't just a technology trend, it's a complete transformation of how civilization operates. And it requires building an entirely new layer of physical infrastructure on top of what already exists. The miners will come and go, some will strike gold, most won't. But the pickaxe sellers, they get paid either way. If this trilogy of videos, the rotation, the gold and dollar breakdown, and now the infrastructure play, if this changed how you see the market, subscribe. I pour weeks of research into every single video. No sponsors, no paid promotions, just data, connections, and perspective. I'll see you in the next one. The complete trilogy is now live. If you missed part 1, the $50 trillion rotation, it's right here. Part 2, the gold, Bitcoin, and dollar connection, right here. This is part 3. Watch them in order, and I promise you, you'll see the market with completely different eyes. Subscribe, bell. I'll see you Friday.